Welcome back to another episode of Tainted Warriors. I'm Mikey.
I'm Nicole.
And this week we're going to kind of give you, it's a little bit of a switch up, but it's kind of a story time, a little bit of like a personal experience. I mean, I've always wanted to tell this story. I tell it to almost any single person that I run into that becomes a friend of mine because it's just so crazy, and I feel like it's just best coming from the two people that it actually happened to, so...
I honestly feel like I block it out until you bring it up, and then, like, everything comes rushing back, and I'm like, oh, yeah, nope, I remember that for sure.
How could you forget? I mean, it's probably best to forget. I mean, you'd want to.
It's there, it's just locked away.
With that being said, though, I don't want to give any spoilers to what it is. Yeah, I mean, if you watched our old episodes, there's probably been some things that we've said about it, but right now we're going to start off with the question of the week, which is...
If you could meet any one celebrity for a cup of coffee at Dunkin', who would it be for a chat?
Ooh, good one.
So, I don't think it's going to be a surprise to anybody to hear that I would 100% go with Selena Gomez. I mean, I don't even know how to, like, answer this because just, like, it's that obvious that I would pick her, so...
I mean, I wasn't really surprised by your answer, but I don't think anybody's going to be surprised by mine. I mean, I'm picking Britney Spears. I feel like that's not only because of what happened, you know what I mean, like, recently, but just I probably
always loved her.
Right. It's like, yeah, she's been an idol. I mean, I had to contemplate a little bit between Beyonce or Britney, you know, like, because Queen Bee too. But I feel like Britney has a little bit more of a story to tell. You know, I mean, I know that Beyonce's been
Everybody
quiet.
has their story.
Right. So, and I feel like, you know, like that conversation, and I feel like I might fangirl a little too much in front of Beyonce. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not royalty material.
Oh, I didn't even think of that. I don't think I'd actually be able to speak to Selena Gomez. I'd just be like mumbling like, oh my God, I love you over and over.
And I think with Britney, I could probably hold my composure a little bit better and, you know what I mean? Like, actually...
Right. Yeah, I didn't think about that.
Host
I don't actually know how my chat's going to go, but I'm still going to pick Selena Gomez because even if I get the word hi out, I'm going to count that as a chat.
I mean, even just seeing her at Dunkin'.
Oh my God, yes. Like, hello. Does anybody know if she's coming to New York at any point? I will go.
Right?
Who's going with me?
I know, I would.
All right, well,
I'd like to meet her.
That'd be good, because you won't try to steal her from me. So, you'll actually help me acquire her. So, let's do it.
We got this. Selena, if you're watching. Hey, girl. All right, I think with that being said, we're going to jump on into this week's story time, which is going to be our personal experience with Bloody Mary.
Ooh.
I know.
I got chills just when you said that. Not even going to lie.
I know there's people out there that don't believe in things like this. So, I mean, if this isn't your cup of tea, I don't blame you. I'm not going to lie, though. If you don't believe the story, still listen to it. It's a good, you know what I mean, sipping tea time story, I guess.
It's a good fiction story if you don't believe it's real. But I promise you that we experienced this, so we're telling it. And I feel like,
not only that, but, like, we have people in our lives that could back it up, too. You know what I mean? Like,
that we're not insane and making shit up.
Yes, that they, like... I mean, for a while, I feel like people didn't really believe at first until, like, they put pieces together, which we're going to explain what we're talking about, you know. But once you put everything together, it's like, all right, something was not right in this time frame. Everybody knows, if you watch our first video, me and Nicole have been friends for a very long time. We met in, like, started becoming friends when I was in about 9th grade. We'll just say...
I was 16 turning 17.
Yeah, and I was 15 turning 16, I think. Yeah, because I'm a year younger. Or, well, something like that. I don't know.
It's weird because our birthdays are like 2 months apart. So there's this weird time frame that this occurred during.
So, I guess best way to start off is that Nicole ends up getting me a job at Wendy's. It's my very first job. I was pretty pumped about it. Like, a little backstory of that. My sister's first job was actually Wendy's. And I was like, I want to be like my sister. You know, like... So I really wanted that to be my first job. So it was really cool, actually, that my best friend was like, hey, I work there. Kind of got me in. Like, she did, you know. I mean, I went to the interview and did it myself, but she did kind of put in a good word for me.
Right away, like, and we got all the same shifts together.
We did. You know, starting out there, we killed it. I mean, both of us being 16 years old, they were literally leaving us like to the lines sometimes
Alone.
by ourselves.
We ran the whole store at one point.
Yeah. Like they were already talking to us like, once you guys turn 18, you're going to be managers. Like it wasn't if anything, it was you guys are.
Right.
So, we're kind of doing our thing, you know what I mean? Going to school, killing it at work. It starts to hit at about October of that year. And me and Nicole, I feel like we've always been like interested in the spiritual side, ghost sides,
Always.
So like at night sometimes we'd go to like a graveyard, walk around it. Little things like that. Not too serious.
I feel like a lot of people have that side. I feel like everybody can relate.
And especially at that age, you know what I mean? Because there's not too much to do for you know what I mean? For kids that want to hang out and do stuff besides like these type of things.
We weren't trying to get into trouble. So
no. We would, and there was this one graveyard in particular too that we did really like to go to. We went there a lot. We actually, so to start with what was happening now, is that we end up spending the night one night at a mutual friend's house. And with that night, we're like, let's play with a Ouija board. Because that's what kids do. It's so fun. Hey.
Because you don't believe it's going to work.
No.
And some of you watching this right now still don't believe that it works.
And I'll even say, like, the part of moving it like that part, I mean, yes, it did move, but it didn't move.
It wasn't drastic.
It didn't spell anything. It didn't make our hands fly.
Right.
But once we started playing, we all felt a weird, like, shift almost in the room. Like, the room started to get a little...
It was heavy.
Yes. Vibe.
Yeah.
We had candles lit. Craziest thing. I've never seen a candle do this again in my life.
It was seriously freaky.
I can't remember if the candles was the first thing, actually, remember? Because I think we asked... Because once that mood changed, we knew something was there. So we were like, if you're here, hit this monster can over.
Right.
It had a lot, like, there was a good amount of stuff in there. And it didn't fully fall over, but you could tell it shook.
Right. It tried. It was almost like something didn't have enough power to do what you would expect, but it was trying its best.
So it was like, all right. So whatever was with us said, you want to know what? I got you. I'm going to show you something real cool. There was 3 of us sitting in a circle with, I think, only 2 candles.
Yeah.
The flames of this candle literally stood up, straight up. I don't know, it'd be weird, because, like, the tip of a flame, like, it literally came to a full point. Straight up.
It was direct.
Then it would literally point to mutual friend and say Nicole. Switch. The candle would go from, like, so looking at mutual friend to Nicole, but that candle that was at Nicole is now pointing to me. Candle that was me, you know what I mean, doing this weird circle thing.
It wasn't dancing either. Like, I know, like, obviously if you have air or something in the room, like, a candle's gonna move. I sometimes light a candle under a fan and it's just constantly, like, everywhere. And I'm like, okay, this is stupid. I should probably move this candle. But, like, no, this candle was, like, deliberately stiff and, like, pointing at whoever it wanted to point at the moment. Or, like, both of the candles, actually. Not just the one. Both of them. So, and there wasn't any, like, breezes or anything like that, to be clear. Like,
and you would think that, like, all right, if with a candle, too, you would think that if there was a breeze, they would be blowing the same way, pointing at the same person.
Right.
It's not pointing at the same person. They're pointing at 2 different people in the room. Very scary.
Goosebumps and shit. Like, it was terrifying.
Once that happened, we were like, nope, we don't want to play with this anymore. We just put it away. Blew out the candle, threw it away. There's a problem with that statement.
Yep.
Everybody knows
we learned the hard way.
We obviously didn't do a prayer of protection before we did it. We didn't do a thanking prayer when we left. We didn't
close the door.
Any doors that we've opened. And we find out that, like, the worst thing you could possibly do is when there is a spirit in your presence is to ask it to physically do something, to bring it into the same thing. And what did we do? I think the exact example, too, I think that was written up was, like, do not ask it to blow out a candle and do not ask it to tip a can. What?
The exact things that we chose to do.
Everything that we did. So, like, after that night, start to feel a little like different. You
We
know,
both were fun. We had like creep vibes for
a while.
longest time.
And I mean, like,
Shit
also,
was happening every month on the anniversary of when we did that Ouija board. Like,
and also we were like, just the depression feeling. You know what I mean? The things that I loved back then was not feeling it for me anymore. And it was like,
right.
you know, things, we stopped
We went
going.
to a dark.
We
road,
kind of like
really.
stopped going to work. You know what I mean? Like,
Stopped going to school.
stopped going to
Anyway.
school. So, like, and this is all within a month. You know what I mean? Just playing with the Ouija board.
Like, instant
Now-
downfall.
We're like, okay, we meet a friend.
A different friend.
So Heather is the friend that we stayed at's house. So we've got Heather, who we stayed at, we played the Ouija board with. About 2-3 weeks later, Heather says, oh my God, I've met a friend, Gertrude, who has her own apartment. We can go there and hang out whenever we want. And we're like, that's awesome. You know what I mean? Because now we don't have to play in graveyards anymore because now we're scared. You know what I mean? Things aren't... So we have a house now. Now it's like I said, a little, maybe 2 weeks after Halloween. You know, it's still kind of that same time frame. Still spookier kind of area.
Everything's a little bit spookier in the winter. I don't know why.
Yeah,
but it
things just have a off, creepy...
It's a different feel. It's a cool
Vibe. Yes.
blue vibe.
So, we decide, for fun, we think, let's play Bloody Mary. This is where the story now is in full contact. Now,
I
like
don't
we've said,
recommend this.
I don't. I still won't play this game.
There's also, like, I know that there's at least different ways of playing it depending on what you look.
When we found out, we looked online, like, how to officially play. You know what I mean? Like, we didn't just want to stand one person in the mirror and do it ourselves. So it was said,
We need
like,
a team.
yep, it did. It said 4 people. We were like, hey, we're 4 people.
What is the chances of that, though, that you just happen to have 4 people willing to do it right there? Like,
Right.
They're like, nah, it's good, we got it.
So, it says that for some reason, Heather needed to be at the toilet. I needed to be standing in front of the mirror. Nicole was standing at the door as she was the emergency. Like, if things go weird, she opens the door and goes.
I am the protector.
And,
Run for help.
Gertrude is just standing on the outside of the door, making sure that, like, you know what I mean? Nobody's blocking the door. We can easily get out if things start to go awry.
Or checking on us if we don't come out.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I didn't even think about that. So, there was also a cup of water was involved. I don't remember what it was for, but I do remember it being on the sink.
Right
It was on the sink.
yeah.
I don't know what it was for because I don't know if we actually got to that step if we had to, but it did say you had to flush the toilet 3 times. And then the person that's saying it turns around and looks in the mirror each time and says her name. And then by the 3rd time you stand there, you stop and you're like, you say her name and you wait. They say that, like, once you wait, that's when she's supposed to
He's too
appear.
terrified to say her name, but yeah. But the name is Bloody Mary, and you have to say it 3 times in the mirror.
And I think I'm so petrified, though, because I was the one that was in the mirror saying her name. So, like, as we do it, the first time I get done, I say her name the 3rd time, I stop. The only thing I do remember was that, like, the mirror did start to look like it was shaking or something, and we heard a deep growl.
Growling is what
That was the scariest. We were like, let's go. We book out the bathroom.
Like, I don't
The
play
order
with
the bathroom, we leave the bathroom, is Nicole, me, then Heather. This is going to come into play in a minute. With Gertrude, like I said, Gertrude's already on the outside of the door. We almost convinced ourselves that was the toilet. It ran out of water.
Right.
So let's go back in there.
For logical explanation.
Yep. Let's go back in there and redo it. And I said, I'm not leaving until I see something. All right? We go back in where everybody's in the same position. I get done saying it for the 3rd time. Next thing I know, there's that growl again. And this mirror that's in front of me just starts becoming red. The big glow of red.
Even, like, I wasn't even in front of the mirror. I was off to the side holding the door, and that is what literally caught my attention. Obviously, the growling caught my attention. Like, that's freaky AF, but I'm like, it's the pipe, it's the pipes. But the fucking glowing red.
Oh, and lights are off, too.
All lights are off. In the entire house, I'm
Yes.
pretty sure we had every
We cut
light
all
off.
lights off.
It was before cell phones were a huge thing, so it's not like we all had our cell phones out. We weren't trying to live stream or TikTok or any crap
Nope,
like
this
that.
is just for us
There was one laptop in the entire house that was in the kitchen that was on the other side of the house. So, like, no lights at all.
Nothing. So when we see this, now I'm like, I tell them, you guys, we have to leave. I feel like I'm going to pass out. I got really lightheaded. I was like, oh my God. So we leave the same order, like I just said before. Nicole, me, then Heather. When we left for the second time, we were in a panic too. So everybody's kind of like trying to go. We rushed out. Next thing we know, Heather is like, oh my God, my arm burns.
Oh my God, I forgot about that.
My arm burns. And we're like, what? So she turns around. She has got a grab mark about here. And it's nails. Like a drag. Like something grabbed onto her as she was leaving the bathroom. And like she had too much power. Or, you know what I mean? They didn't have enough power to pull her back, but they scratched her.
Ironically, kind of like the candle incidents.
So after that, we're like, now we're free. We're like, oh my God, we need to leave. We left. Like, we went into Nicole's van. But then we realized, oh my God, something was up in the apartment that we had to go back and get. So when we go up back to get it, mind you, I said there was a cup of water on the counter. It's now on the floor all over the place.
Right.
We were like, oh my God. We grabbed whatever we had to leave because nobody touched that cup.
We weren't touching shit at that point. No,
we were like, out. We gotta go.
That cup is possessed right now. If you touch it, you become a demon.
We leave. We had to go. I know we went back into the house because that cup was now back on the sink full of water again. And that was that was it.
Yeah.
We all stayed in the living room that night. I remember, because, I mean, we had no other, I mean, we all had other homes, but we wanted to stay together. It was intense, very scary. So we end up actually, like I said, after the next day, I don't know about everybody else, but now I start to feel weird. Like I said, I feel like I'm starting to see things at night.
I got fired from my job.
We're doing things that we never would have.
I literally didn't show up because, like, shit happened. It was so terrifying that, like, I literally just didn't think to freaking call because I was too busy just trying not to be scared.
Right.
And then I tried to explain it, but they didn't understand, so.
The drawing point of it, I guess, for me to say was, like, the feeling. But then once I got in trouble with the law, that has always been my thing of, like, I know my gut. I don't play around when it comes to the police. If I feel like I'm in any sort of, you know what I mean? If I know I'm wrongdoing, I would never do it.
Right.
But at this point, I'm not myself.
Right.
And I know that I went everything against me. So now I don't know how to stop. I'm like, how do I get this, whatever's happening, this dark entity out? And it got so bad after that, you know, like once I'm realizing that, like I tried to cry out for help for anybody. We actually end up having to go to somebody.
Went to a counselor of some kind.
And we kept it quiet. They gave us rosary beads. Yep. And they prayed with us. And they were trying to help us out. And I feel like
this, just to kind of put that in context, like this person did it because they believed us also. Like, just to kind of give it a little legitimacy. Yeah. They weren't a counselor in a position that wasn't supposed to be giving that kind of advice or bringing religion into anything or...
No.
She probably should have been, like, recommending us for psychiatric help at that point. Like, further psychiatric help because she was, like, a low-level kind of counselor. Not, like, a psychologist kind of thing that, you know.
Right. But she saw it. Like, she could put the pieces together and be like, wait, they are completely different. I mean, even down to physical appearance.
I lost so much weight, actually.
I lost weight. My hair was black. I've never been a black-haired person. You know what I mean?
There's a picture of me sitting on the kitchen floor. I don't know if you were there, but there's a picture of me sitting on the kitchen floor, like, just, like, knees up, and I have my hand on my head, and my face is red, because, like, I felt like I was 150 degrees, and, like, I had the biggest headache and shit, and, like, that was, like, during the time I was losing all the weight, and I literally was just sitting... at the fridge door of all places, trying to cool off.
Crazy.
It was nuts.
There was so much, and I don't know, like I said, we've always tried to find logical explanations. And, like, I even tried to say before, like, maybe it was just the house. But I did end up departing from there before it was actually solved. And I was still seeing this creature, like I said, the whole time. I don't know why it always followed, but there was the same, like, black figure that would kind of like creep, and it would either be in like a hallway or just something of everywhere that I was at. Didn't matter if I was home, school, and that's why, like I said, like it finally came to a point where I was like, I need help in a way that I don't even know how to get it.
Right.
Like it was really scary. And that's why, like, to this day, I know that, like, the ending of this story isn't, I feel like it's kind of anticlimactic, I guess. You know what I mean? My ending was really, like, after the rosary beads, and that I obviously prayed every day. And I just told myself, like, I carried them with me. And it slowly stopped. And I slowly started to almost pull the Mikey back out of me. And, like, I didn't go through an exorcism or, then that's what I meant by, like, anticlimactic. Like, there is no, like, definitive way of me being like, this was the end of it. But I know that, like, throughout that point of my life, that was because of this reason right here. And I feel like it had more to do also with, like, we did want it, like, I feel like we did beg for it. I almost felt like.
Well, we were kids. Everybody antagonizes shit like that when they're young and don't know.
Then turning around and actually seeing it now, I wish that I never would have, like, yearned for it. You know what I mean? Like,
I still have no regrets because we get to tell stories like this. But,
yeah.
And maybe, who knows? We don't know if our message could one day spread to a kid thinking about it and they're like, oh, yeah, no, not going to take that risk. Maybe a little bit smarter than us.
I really hope so.
But I don't know, though. I don't feel like, I don't know. I guess maybe I feel different because I guess I feel like I always had a dark kind of, like, cloud in my life even before that, but it got super, like, obviously it got super intense during that time. I would never have stolen. I moved out of my mom's house and lived with Gertrude, which is something I would never do. Like, I was doing things that weren't me.
And it wasn't a change of, like, okay, they're growing up. You know what I mean? It was like change for bad and we're making bad and wrong decisions.
I mean, that's probably how our parents viewed it, but it really wasn't. It was really like, it felt like being in that house almost felt like you were at a battle of good versus evil in your soul. And, like, I
almost felt like I needed to be there. And it was hard to pull myself away from there. Like, you know what I mean?
There, so clearly that's what I thought.
And it was like, but I knew that it was not, like I said, I could feel it. It took Mikey out. I felt like throughout that time, I was like a Mike or a Michael. I wasn't Mikey.
Right.
And like I said, even, I think that my parents thought that for a minute, but even they realized it too. My sister, still to this day, if my nieces ask about it, she will be like, go talk to your uncle. Because, you know,
firsthand.
Yes. When my niece first asked for a Ouija board, she was like, go talk to your uncle and see if you still want that.
See, I guess that's where we are different, though, because I do have a Ouija board at my house somewhere. I have not used it, and I don't think I would, but I haven't thrown it away. I didn't bring it in. My ex brought it in, but I haven't thrown it away. But maybe that's also because I'm terrified, because how the fuck do you throw away a Ouija board safely?
Right.
Like, you have to burn that shit in the backyard, and then what if it comes back?
That's why I don't want any of it, though.
That's even scarier than it just sitting there. Yeah, well, when the ex brought it in and then left it,
right,
I was left to dispose of it, and I don't know how, so
I can't.
Maybe that's why it always, sometimes I have that dark feeling still. Because the Ouija board's just chilling. I sometimes think I see dark entity, like dark.
See?
Not really. I don't want to say I see like figures and shit, and it's like always in peripheral vision, but I'll see these black moving things in places, and it's like, wait, nothing should be moving there.
Okay, and that's a good thing, and that's, I'll even go back to that too, is that, yes, I've seen things out of the corner of my eyes, and like, but throughout that time, I can describe exactly what that was. I couldn't tell you what has caught my attention in the corner of my flash. You know what I mean? Like,
right. So I mean, I don't think I saw the same beast thing that you saw.
I don't, right.
We definitely both had a lot more weird sightings of things back then. Like, that was the same time, wasn't it? Around the same time when the ghost girl walked through my car?
Yeah.
That we mentioned that last week in our reaction video.
Yeah. We both saw something that did this, but it was two different things that we both saw.
And I think that opens a different world of questions also, is like, what if it's not necessarily a ghost? What if we aren't talking about always just the souls of the departed? Like, what if it's something crazier where it is just a glitch in the matrix and we're both supposed to be seeing the same thing, but somehow it turned different.
Right.
Like, one of us has some kind of fucking glitch in our vision. You know what I mean? Like, it could be anything, honestly. The universe is full of so many secrets that we don't understand. I just felt like that's always been a story that I've wanted to tell, you know. It seems fitting for Halloween. Yeah, I was going to say, Happy Halloween, y'all. I would still go to a graveyard at night. You know, like, it didn't take me away from things, like, of doing that. I think I'd play with the Ouija board, but I would do it in a group with the proper terms. I would have the one like white candle for protection. I'd say all the prayers. I would make sure like I had a rosary in hand.
See, but I'm just so afraid that I'm gonna do something wrong with that. And I haven't even went to a graveyard at night. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just saying, like, I'd be more willing, I guess, to do something like that than I would to do that, because
I was always in graveyard.
I don't know what I'm doing. It's scary.
Life is scary, but...
And I feel like with that being said, that kind of wraps up our story of...
Just a quick little story about Bloody Mary. Again.
The one I will not name.
That's like his Voldemort right there.
I won't.
I'll say it. I'll say Voldemort. I'll say Bloody Mary. Like, come at me. I'm pretty sure I can handle whatever the universe has to throw at me.
Stay right where you are for me. I'm okay living the life I'm living. Stay in your lane. I'm cool with mine. I don't want to cross over.
Mikey's done, but if you need to come at someone, I got you, bitch. Not really. Please stay away, though.
Well, don't forget to like,
subscribe, comment, share, do everything. Like, are you telling your friends and family about us? What is going on right now?
Come on, get the message out from the Tainted Warriors.
It's 2 buttons. You guys got this. We have faith in you. You're the best. Keep
watching. We love you. Show us your love.
That was another episode of
Tainted Warriors.
Bye.
Bye.